Hey everybody, it's Josh here. In this video, I'm dishing out my top 6 web design sales tips. Now, I've made this available as a free ebook, so if you like the tips in this video and you would like the full PDF ebook that has these tips written out in a lot more detail, just check out the link below and you can download that for free. Now, these tips are 6 things that have really helped me out in my web design business with selling websites for nearly a decade now. And we're going to talk about a lot of web design specific things, but these tips can also be applied no matter what industry you're in. So even if you're in photography or some other industry, I think you'll definitely be able to utilize these sales tips as well. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over the tip with a quick summary, but I'm also going to give you a call to action for each one that you can apply to your business immediately. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1, you got to sell you. Potential clients are obviously going to want to know that you're competent and that you know your products and your services, but they're also going to want to know, like, and trust you. And this is extra important in web design because, as you know, with website design, we're not just selling products and services, we're actually selling an experience through the whole web design process. And one important thing to remember is that clients are not just going to buy a website design and disappear, they're going to be with you for potentially years to come. So it's really important to not only know your craft, but to work on yourself and make sure you're selling you and your design experience when you're selling websites. There's a famous quote that goes something like this: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it sounds cheesy, but it's so true, and it's really true in web design because, again, you're going to be working with them for potentially years to come. So they need to know, like, and trust you. So you've got to sell you when you're selling your product or service. Now, one practical way you can do this, and kind of the call to action for this first tip, is to be very empathetic and care about your client's goals and their mission for their site. So you just don't want to talk about your product and your service and be thinking about how much you can make on this project. You really need to care about their goals and the vision for the website, and the client is going to sense that, and it'll go a long way, and that will help in selling you in order to sell that product. So remember, work on yourself. Personal development sounds like a cheesy term, but it's very, very important, and it'll go a long way in selling websites. Number 2 is to match and mirror. This is one of my favorite aspects of sales, no matter what industry you're in. And matching and mirroring basically means that you can match and mirror the personality type that you're selling with. Now, it's important not to over-exaggerate and go too far and become somebody that you're completely not. But you can do some things to match the personality type that you're working with. So for example, I'm kind of a mid-range kind of guy. I'm not too high, not too low. I'm not too energetic, but I'm not too kind of low-key. I'm kind of right in the middle. So if I'm meeting with somebody who's really pumped up and really energetic, I might just hit a little higher energy for myself. If they're talking really fast and they're pumped up, I might say something like, yeah, I'm really excited to work with you. This site's going to be great. We're going to blow away your competition. It's going to be super cool. Whereas if I'm meeting with somebody who's very low-key, talks a little slower and is laid back, I'm not going to come at them with that high energy level. I might take it back a notch and say, yeah, we can definitely create a really nice website that's going to build your web design presence and bring a lot of traffic and help sales moving forward. I might keep it a little more laid back. So that's one thing you can do. And then as a call to action, one thing that's really super cool that you could do is to keep an ear out for a phrase or keyword when you're on a sales call or you're in a meeting with somebody that a client says about their website, and then you can use that later on in the conversation. So for example, if a client in the beginning of a call or something says, I'm just looking for a sleek, modern website that, is different and blah, 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 and then they go over all their goals and their vision, keep a note of that, whether you keep it in your head or whether you write it down if you're in an in-person meeting. And at the end of the call, you can say, well, great, I'm really excited about the potential to work with you guys. The goal here will be to give you guys a sleek, modern website that really separates you apart from your competition. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, sleek and modern, yeah, that would be great. And what's cool about that is it sounds like you came up with it, but in fact, they gave you the answer right in the beginning, and then you just kind of reiterated it at the end. So that's a really cool thing you can do, again, as the call to action. Keep a note of that keyword or phrase that you can listen out for in the beginning of a call or a meeting, and apply that at the end as kind of a project goal to make it sound like you came up with it. Number 3 is to be real and be genuine. So matching and mirroring, which we just went over, is a great tactic, but again, you don't want to over exaggerate that. You want to stay true to who you are And one of the best ways you can do that is to just be real and be genuine with your clients, because clients are going to be able to sniff out somebody who's being fake in a heartbeat. We can all do that. Nobody wants to buy from that cheesy used car salesman. So one thing that I found that has really helped practically as kind of a call to action is to not think about selling your product or service and how much money you can make, but if you think about how you can help your client's business grow, it will automatically remove that salesman layer and you'll get right into being real with the client and be curious about how you can help their business. With web design, that's extra important. It's a really simple thing to do. Again, you can just bypass thinking about how much you're going to make and how much this client is worth to how can I help this client out? And it can really go a long way. And they're going to see that you're real, you're genuine, and it's going to go a long way in selling your websites moving forward. Number 4 is to put yourself in their shoes. So kind of when you're thinking about your client and being empathetic towards them, you really want to put yourself in their shoes thinking about, okay, they are potentially making a very big investment and they're going to be working with somebody like we've talked about for potentially years. So think about before you got into web design, what it was like when you maybe got a quote for web design or was thinking about web design services. I know before I got into web design, I had no idea how much it cost, what was involved, and I didn't know terms like CSS or HTML or anything like that. So you really want to put yourself in your client's shoes and be empathetic towards their situation. Now, one thing that you can do practically as a call to action for this is if your client seems a little fearful or is hesitant to get involved, you can really make them feel comfortable if you say terms like we and us as opposed to you. So instead of saying we'll build your website, you can say things like we're going to make a website that's really great, and then once we launch our website, it's going to really help drive traffic and we can do a lot of things to help grow the business. Just making it feel like a more cohesive team kind of experience, which it should be as a web design experience. So you want to make sure the client feels comfortable. Again, put yourself in their shoes, particularly if it's a big web design project where they're going to be investing several $1,000s. You want to make sure they feel comfortable, and you just need to ask yourself, what would I look for if I was in their situation? It'll go a long way. Now, speaking of talking with your clients and making them feel comfortable, number 5 is to talk at their level. So I have a ton of clients who are very savvy and can talk technical, and they know about WordPress and they know about Divi and they're updating their sites. But most of my clients don't know what Divi is. They don't even know what WordPress is. They just want to hire me to build a nice website and then make sure it looks good and then it's helping them grow their business. So you want to make sure when you're selling that you're talking at their level. So, and you can tell pretty quickly whether somebody is pretty savvy if they're talking about terms like, yeah, I have logo files that are JPEGs and PNGs, and I have some vector files. Or if they're like, yeah, we really want to use WordPress and we want to blog. We don't want to do too much coding, but we would like to be able to use WordPress and optimize for SEO. You could probably talk a little more technical, but if somebody's like, I just want a nice website and they can barely turn their computer on, then you're probably not going to be throwing out terms like WordPress, CSS, Divi, HTML, and DNS settings and things like that. So you want to talk at their level. Again, a lot of my clients don't even know what tools we're using. Now, one thing you might want to do that will help you determine your potential client's technical know-how is I actually have a line on my questionnaire that asks them what their technical skill level is. It says, yep, I'm really savvy, or I don't know too much about computers. I'm going to need a lot of assistance. That's one thing you can do practically to help you out. But again, you just want to make sure you talk at their level. So the call to action is when you're selling, make sure it's relatable. You don't want to alienate your clients and feeling like they're just stupid and have a deer in the headlights kind of look because they have no idea what you're talking about. I've seen this play out with developers and advanced designers when they get into talking about all these technical terms that, somebody like an automotive mechanic who needs a website is probably not going to know. So you want to make sure you talk at their level. And then finally, number 6, this is perhaps my favorite as far as things you can do for selling your services, and that is to share ideas. So one of the best ways you can get a client excited about working with you is to share ideas about how their website can help grow their business. Prime example, a couple years ago, I had a meeting with a potential client who is now an awesome client, and they were like a warehouse that had a whole division that was specifically for folks with disabilities. And they wanted to really highlight these workers and they wanted to grow their workforce in that section of the warehouse in that business. So one idea that I had that I proposed to them in the meeting was, what if we did like a blog with an employee spotlight that they could post once a month, and they could share it on social media and really highlight the workers and help bring engagement. And they loved that idea. And we ended up moving forward with the project, and we did that, set up a blog for them, and they've been posting an employee spotlight for their disabilities wing, and they've been sharing that to social media, and it's been a huge success. They do that every month, and what's been really cool is they share that on Facebook, and all of those posts get shared by family and friends, and it drives a ton of traffic to the site. And it was all just based off of an idea. I kind of listened for a need, a problem that they had, and then provided a solution with just an idea. So that's one way that will really help you sell your services, is just to identify, that's kind of the call to action, identify a problem or a need that they have and offer an idea to help with that. And it'll go a long way, and it'll show that you care with building out their websites. So there you go, guys. There are my top 6 web design sales tips. And again, you don't have to be in web design. These tips should help you out no matter what industry you're in. And again, if you like these and you would like the free ebook, all you have to do is click the link below and you can get the full PDF that has these tips and more detailed information. The way I do my downloads is all you need to do is sign up for a free account, and then you can download this. And the cool thing about that is I'm going to be releasing more layouts and more free resources. And once you have a free account, you can just download those, and you don't have to keep on re-signing up for anything in order to get a free download. So you can just have a free account on my site, then you can download with a click of a button anytime something new is released. So really looking forward to seeing how these tips help you out. Please let me know if these tips help, and then I'll see you guys here soon for another video with some free resources.